Today we're cooking in the kitchen with certified nutritionist Susan Gins, and she has a new cookbook that's about to be published, which is very exciting. Tell us about it.
It's called Cooking Through Cancer, From Diagnosis to Recovery. And the idea of it is to use food as a way of down-regulating some of the side effects or preventing some of the side effects of conventional cancer treatment.
Wonderful. So they used alongside and to move through your cancer treatment feeling perhaps better and recovering.
Absolutely.
Recovering with a little bit more vigor and endurance than you would if you had not focused on diets.
Absolutely. And hopefully even avoiding having some of the side effects as a result. And it gives people so much more power than they particularly feel when they're going through cancer treatment.
Yes.
That they can do this for themselves in their own lives.
And nourish themselves.
Nourish themselves.
Which is such a big piece of it. Yeah. So I think a lot of people feel like it's they don't have power over it. It's out of their hands. They have to go through treatment, which obviously you do what you need to.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But I think this does feel a little bit empowering and nourishing, that you can feel like you're learning something and doing something great for yourself at the same time.
Absolutely. And the thing is that we try to keep all the recipes to 4 steps. So it's easy.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this recipe is going to be a perfect example of that.
Absolutely. And so we're making sweet and sour cabbage.
Correct.
Yeah. So...
Go
for it. Please do.
Well, the first thing I did was chop up the cabbage, and I used Napa cabbage. And the reason I chose Napa cabbage is that it actually is easier to digest, and it's easier to cook with. And it's actually, I think, more attractive.
Yes.
Than regular cabbage.
Yeah, absolutely. It sautés down a little bit more than the other cabbages and the traditional round head, really stiff cabbage that I think scares a lot of people. You have to cook it or really break it down with a very acidic or vinegary dressing. And this one we're going to be cooking today. But it has to me, it's almost a cross between a cabbage and a bok choy.
I think that's true, yes. And I think also... if you can find Napa cabbage, there's something called Savoy cabbage. It's very similar, but it's also a good substitute.
Yeah, lovely. So we have set out our ingredients for the dressing. Correct. And so we're going to whisk the dressing together. We're going to saute the cabbage, add the dressing to it, and then plate it with a little bit of almond on top. It's a very easy, straightforward recipe, but really tasty. Really tasty. All right, so... the ingredients we have.
All right, so we're going to take the agave first. Actually,
we're going to use honey.
Yeah, we're using honey.
You can use agave. I prefer honey or real maple syrup, so we're going to use honey for this recipe.
Okay,
so
honey works perfectly well. Then we've got tamari soy sauce, which means it's wheat-free.
Yep, wheat-free soy sauce.
Wheat-free soy sauce.
And if you do want to go soy-free, you can also use Bragg's aminos, and they're an equal. One for one. So,
and also very tasty. Yes. Both of them have a good taste.
Yeah, and they're made from coconut. So there's no soy and there's no gluten.
Oh, good to know.
Yes.
Okay, and then we're going to use rice vinegar.
Okay.
And water.
And
then we're going to stir in whisking, and is a better word, actually.
It's a better word.
Because the cornstarch, when we add the cornstarch...
Give me 1 second. I think the honey needs to...
Okay, dissolve a little more.
Dissolve just a teeny bit more. All right, we're good.
Okay.
And if you pick up organic cornstarch, then it's going to be non-GMO.
And a lot of times I use arrowroot as well as a substitute. And I find that when you use it in a sauce like this, this is a thickening agent. So the idea of this is that it gives your sauce more body. As you cook it, it's going to thicken up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and not only that, when you spoon up or fork up your cabbage, you get the sauce with it. So you don't want to lose this delicious sauce.
So the next thing is we're going to light the stove.
Okay. Light the stove.
Okay, and we're going to add the olive oil, and we're going to add the salt. Oftentimes in Chinese recipes, you add the salt at the same time as you add the olive oil.
Okay.
There we're sizzling.
Yep. So I'm going to turn that down to medium.
All right. Now we're just going to add this, and hopefully, I'm just going to saute it. You might not get this all. This.
Oh, it will.
Most
of it will. It cooks down.
Yeah, it cooks down a lot.
Yeah, and for 2 people in our household, the grains that I usually do is I usually do a full pan.
Really?
And then it cooks down, and it feels like it might not even be half a cup to 2/3 a cup total for each of us for 2 servings.
Yeah.
But this pan is the Green Earth ceramic coated pan, just for size, if any of you have it at home. And I fill it up, and I'm really amazed sometimes how much they cook down.
Well, another thing is that this recipe is perfectly fine, stored in the refrigerator for a few days and heated up afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine it's even more delicious the next day. I mean, anytime you step into some sesame, anytime you step into a little bit of sesame and soy sauce and all those great flavors coming in, and we can put a lid on that and let it come down.
Okay, that would be great. That would be a lot easier. Okay. We can add the sauce if you want to.
Me too, sure.
Okay. You might want to turn, I don't know if you can turn the heat down a little bit.
Turn it down? Sure.
Because the sauce will thicken, and we want to get it all covered with the sauce before it starts to thicken too much.
Oh, yes.
So, and we could actually add the sesame seeds now too.
Okay. So just so you heard that, we turned the heat down a little bit on the stove so we could have a moment to coat all of the cabbage with the sauce before the sauce thickens. And then we can turn it back up and do a little bit more of a medium to medium high heat saute just to finish it off.
So, okay, we're going to put the top back on.
So in your cookbook, do you address different types of cancer? And then, of course, the different phases of treatment and recovery?
Yes.
It's all focused on?
The cookbook is actually focused on the type of treatment, and so it's really covers all cancers. There are special chapters for hormonal cancers because those are treated differently, and because of the fact that the food can be the same. Our cookbook is soy-free, gluten-free, dairy-free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and no processed sugar.
Lovely.
The other thing is it's going to make a great present for people to give.
Yes, absolutely.
So that they can use it themselves. One of the things we hear very often is that people bring food when people are sick, but a lot of the people can't eat the food.
Right.
That people bring.
Right.
And so if you follow these recipes, we know that the people are going to be able to eat the food.
Absolutely. And what an interesting point that I think we don't think of. We always think of we should bring them comfort food. I'll make my family's macaroni and cheese, which can be healthy, but it's...
Right.
Yes, it
wouldn't be on the top. Actually, we have a healthy macaroni and cheese recipe.
You can make it dairy and gluten-free, definitely.
So.
But what a great idea. So it's not only for people that have had a diagnosis and are going through or trying to recover, it could be for a family member or friend to actually almost kind of get in the know a bit on what they can help with and prepare with, and then that person can... maybe the dish comes along with the cookbook.
That's a good idea.
As a present, saying, I made this, it's on page 52, and I hope you enjoy it.
As people will make this food and see, you don't have to have cancer to like this food.
Right.
It's fabulous food, and so it's for anybody. And what we hope is people have comorbidities. In other words, they could have cancer and diabetes, or they could have cancer and digestive problems. So we're really trying to support them to be the healthiest they can.
Yeah.
I think this is ready.
Lovely, lovely. So let's go ahead and turn this off.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and plate a serving up so you can see what this looks like. If you want to tip that up a little bit, that's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So again, the white part of the cabbage is almost like a bok choy. It's going to give you that nice crunch. And then the green part has kind of wilted down a little bit. Which is going to help digestion as well, because cabbage is one of those that's a bit harder to digest. So it's nice to either cook it or use a really good acidic dressing on it.
Right.
That would be helpful. Not so much when you're going through treatment for cancer, because that might evoke a little bit of mouth sores.
Exactly.
But if you're ever making a coleslaw, you're breaking down that cabbage and making it better to digest,
right.
or easier to digest because of that. So if you want to grab the bowl and the plate. Wonderful. And that dressing looks great.
And you can see how it became much less than it looked like in the beginning.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And then some almonds on top. Wonderful. I could see this with mandarin oranges too.
Oh.
The sweet and sour, the sweetness would come out with those, but delicious. Or orange segments chopped up.
Yeah,
it would be lovely
that's
for the
nice.
color. Yeah, but this looks delicious.
And we could actually put a little more, put some sauce on it.
Sure. Sure, you want to tip it for me?
Sure. Got a few sesame seeds.
Yeah, or some toasted sesames on there too. That dressing looks delicious. I can't wait to try it. Susan, thank you
You're more
so
than
much.
welcome. Thank
Yeah.
you.